Hey y'all, welcome to episode 131 of Consignment Chats, and we are here to recap what, girls?
Campus Party 2023.
2023. We are fresh off the planes. I think all at different times, all with different flight stories, and our minds are just reeling with so many amazing thoughts and so much amazing information to share. Where do you want to start, girls? Oh, wait, I know where I want to start. Hold on. I want to start with my hug. She emerged. I got to hug Samantha, y'all, for the first time ever.
It was awesome.
I did. I got to start with that.
Yes, it was so nice having all three of us in the same spot for like the whole week. It was great.
Yeah, that was amazing. Best part. And there were a lot of really good parts.
This will be my last episode now that they've both met me in person. They've decided. No,
we're making some changes.
After her behavior.
Wait, I thought we were going to bring that part up. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
We're not supposed to share that. I don't even know where to start. My brain seriously is overwhelmed with so much amazing stuff.
Well, let's just start with the community aspect of it, because that was amazing. So, all right, for those of you that don't know what Camp Listing Party is, this was the first annual Camp Listing Party hosted by List Perfectly. It was a virtual and in-person conference in Phoenix, Arizona. And we all went to Arizona from our little East Coast time zones. That was the furthest west I've ever been. Totally amazing. I love it. I want to move there, first of all. All right.
What?
No.
Those on podcasts, Samantha and I are both shaking our heads with a big NO. Not us.
It was hot. It was hot and dry. The desert is my jam. That's all I'm going to say right now. Yeah.
It was so good to get home and finally, after about 24 hours, have my throat not stick together anymore, because I didn't matter how much water I drank, my throat was always stuck together. Like
I about cried on the plane when we were flying over all the beautiful lakes, and I could see trees and grass and green, and I was like, oh, I missed Michigan.
Yeah, there's definitely not a lot of green there. That's for sure. That's for sure. But
except for the cacti.
Yeah, there's different shades of lighter green.
Yeah, Michelle was dying laughing at me because I was freaking out when I saw the saguaro cactuses and cacti. Sorry, I keep doing that. But anyway, I was just like, oh my gosh, look, they're in people's yards. This is like the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Now, unfortunately, our hotel did not put one in their landscape. Otherwise, we would have gotten a picture of Libby with one.
Yes.
But from what I understand, they are very difficult. And I do remember this as a child when we went to Arizona, that we would go look at them out in like nature, and there were always woodpecker holes galore in them. And so they're not real easy to grow in your yard because you're not allowed to cut them down. And once the woodpeckers get into them, they die inside, and you're not allowed to cut them down. You have to wait and let them fully rot. So I think that's why a lot of places don't like to use it in their landscaping, from what I learned.
Well, that is very interesting.
Yeah.
I learned that some cacti, if you get too close to them, they will go towards you, and they like gravitate toward, I don't know, it was weird, but they're like, don't stand too close to some of them, because there are kinds that will reach out and touch you, and that sounded terrifying. So
personal experience with that, as a kid, we went to like a flower show, and my sister had put her hands near some of the cacti, and I can't remember what the specific kind was, and it, like, without touching it, inserted all of the pickers into her hands.
that sounds terrible. Yeah.
Yes, it was awful.
So growing up, we always had small ones at the beach on Hilton Head, and you would always step on them by accident going down to the beach and have them all clustered like in the arch of your foot.
Oh,
Not fun.
all right. So yeah, I'm really glad that I'm back in Michigan, where nothing is going to do that to me. Nothing at all.
So back on the subject of community though, guys, how much fun was it to like, I know we connect with so many of these people on listing parties that List Perfectly hosts every week, and you know them, but now you actually got to go face to face with them and hang out with them in person. And I know, Samantha, that probably was such a big feel for you because you are such a good listing partier.
And yes, if you guys want information about List Perfectly Listing Party, always check out the show notes, send us any questions, and we'll give you the scoop on it.
Yes, it was amazing. So I had planned on being there a day early with the way my flights had worked out, and that I would be there to greet everyone as they came in. Well, that didn't happen. I was waylaid at least 24 hours. So I came in and a couple wonderful partiers had stayed up and waited for me so that I wasn't alone when I came into the lobby. So that was awesome. And then the next morning I came downstairs just not knowing what to expect, like being my shy little self and gonna come down and maybe grab a coffee and go from there. And I was greeted by about 20 different people screaming, "Samantha!" as I walked into the lobby. And I was just hugging people for hours. It was absolutely amazing seeing everybody in person.
We were all worried about you getting there. All of
Yes.
us. Like, I'm like, I can't sleep. Like, I got to have her here. Like, this is not right. Like, where is she?
Yeah, it was awesome. Like, there were so many great parts to the conference, but I mean, even talking with everybody in the List Perfectly Mastermind group this morning, it was just a resounding, the community. The best part was nobody is higher than anybody else when you're sitting in that hotel lobby, just relaxing in between sessions or at night after dinner. Everybody's just chit-chatting, talking about business, talking about goals, collaborations, things that people want to do, social media. Like, it was just a wealth of knowledge just walking through the hotel at any given moment. And that was awesome.
And I agree. Everybody's there to help build each other up. There's none of this trying to knock each other down at all. It's the complete opposite, which is what we felt last year at Boss. And I think really that is probably not 100% of the reselling community, but somehow we have really lucked up to get into the right part of the reselling community and find those collaborative people who are driven by a true community of support.
Yeah.
So that's been wonderful. Thoughts. There was something else I had. I know I wanted to say Trish, first of all, we should have started all this by Trish Glenn.
Wow.
You rocked this out for your very first event that you did.
Cheers, Trish.
Across the board, you and List Perfectly. I know you had helpers. I know that you had staff there helping you, but I also know you were the commander-in-chief, the head counselor, the camp director, and you did an amazing job. And I hope you're getting some good sleep.
Yes. And kudos to Amanda and Claire, the CEOs of List Perfectly, for just letting her do her thing. Like, we don't know the ins and outs of it, but I got the feeling that they rarely said no to her. They just let her do whatever she needed to do. And she definitely rocked it. It was great.
I mean, it was from beginning to end, very well organized. You felt like there was never a need for something, you know, a drink was there, a food was there, anything you needed was there the whole way through. So. And
my flight was late. Most people had left and I was still waiting. So Don from our little group, he had stayed with me to hang out. And then I got to hang out with Trish a bunch and go out to dinner again and do the whole 9 yards. And yeah, I didn't want to leave. I was like, well, wait, I have to be at the airport in 10 minutes.
And Don was wearing his awesome shirt Molly made in our merch store, the Donovan collection. It was fun to see him in his shirt, proudly displaying his quote. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Link in.
And y'all, we've got
it's cute.
New quotes coming. New quote shirts are in the works.
So excited.
Some goodies. That's exciting. Well, I didn't see him wear that, so that must have been the day I left.
It was Friday. Yes. He had it on Friday. Yeah. It looked great. It looked great. It was
he was walking around. People were like, "Oh, Dawn, is that your shirt?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And that's my face. It's right there.
So the print looked okay then. This is good news.
It looked good. Yes, it was
Okay.
very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So tell me some things, high points of learning. Did you have those aha moments that you
You know,
may have?
so many, and I'm afraid I'm going to miss someone and not mention them. So let's just apologize and get it out here right up front. In case we miss anyone, we apologize. It's not intentional. We're just going to try to do the highlights of what we saw. We're still going back and watching some of the virtual things
Mhm.
because literally we're kind of just off the plane and catching up with things. But yes.
There you go.
So I had two huge highlights. Should I just do one?
Do one at a time first.
All right. I have to say one of the highlights for me was listening to the Ken the Hustle Bee and Clara from Lives Perfectly doing their Coming to America speech or presentation and answer questions about, coming to America as an immigrant and what it takes and how inspirational. I think it kind of reset me because it was so inspirational that we take for granted all of the opportunities that we have here. And to hear it from their perspective was just mind blowing. And it definitely took me, a step or two back and thought, wow, like this is pretty incredible what we do and the opportunities we have, particularly in reselling here in the United States. And I think I'm often not grateful for that. And I really should be. So
Love
now I
it.
am.
Love it. Samantha. Oh, wait, did you drop a tear during that?
Did
Who
I?
dropped a
Yeah.
tear?
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
I thought I wasn't the only one, I'm sure.
Oh, I was gonna say there were so many sessions where everybody was just so vulnerable. And yeah, the tears flowed in many parts. I really loved the breakout session with Tiffy Pie from Poshmark. And I don't remember who else was on her panel, but I really connected with Tiffany. She didn't want to share some things and she kept kind of passing the microphone and not really sure what she should talk about. And I think it was a talk about community. And I, being myself, blurting things from the audience, encouraged her to grab that mic.
Oh yeah, you're a real audience
Yeah.
flirter. Yeah,
That was
I
something
was
I learned about
surprised.
Samantha this past week was, yeah, she just shouted out there, man.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not.
it was good. It was good.
But I told Tiffany to grab the mic and talk about, I had only interacted with her in one of the Boss virtual meetups that they hold monthly. And a few months ago, she had presented there about Poshmark and she was talking about how she didn't sell on eBay. And then we started the breakout session and she goes, I know it's not a big deal to you guys, but I just had my 25th sale on eBay. I've only been on there for a couple months. Yeah. So that was freaking awesome because only is not a word and 25 sales is amazing.
Mhm.
And so she started that way, but then she wasn't really opening up or talking about anything. And I said, no. Talk about how the community encouraged you to go to eBay as well and to cross list. And she started talking about some hardships that she'd had in her life and things that were going on personally and how that came at just the right time. She needed something to focus on and to embrace, and how the community embraced her in many different ways. And oh man, I'm gonna tear up just thinking about it. It was just so great connecting with everybody and hearing their stories, and people that just seem so big and so into all the social medias or the platforms or the YouTube. And there were 3 other people on that panel that I cannot think of at the moment, but they all opened up as well. And it was just great just seeing them as people and the struggles that they're going through and the things that they're doing. And if they can get through it and still do all these fantastic things and still have 25 sales on a platform they've only been on for a couple months, then why can't everybody else be succeeding as well?
Yeah, I mean, because on social media, a lot of times we know it's a highlight reel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a highlight reel. And sometimes, I know myself personally, like I feel like everybody else is not having these struggles. Like sometimes I feel like very alone in different things I've been going through, like personally and with my business, because everybody else just seems like they got it all going on and it's all a highlight reel. So, to hear those stories is just so uplifting and so encouraging that people are brave enough to share those. And the other two on the panel were Sunny Las Vegas and Callie.
Yeah.
Yes.
I knew Sunny was. Who was the third?
Callie from
Oh,
Round
Callie.
Roots. And Callie felt like an imposter up there, she said, because she didn't feel like a reseller. And it was like, so me being the counselor in the audience, apparently, I was like, wait, you do the listing, the shipping, all the stuff in between, and just because you aren't sourcing these items, you feel like you're not a reseller?
Right.
Like, there's plenty of resellers out there that go and source, and they don't ever list or ship the items. They're just buying things. So
right. She's amazing. I mean, you saw Casey trying to pilfer her away from Ryan and Allie because she's so amazing.
Yeah,
that was funny. Yes.
And a ton of fun too. That whole group is a ton of fun. Yeah. Well, we missed that one. I know I wasn't in that one, and I'm like y'all, we'll go through again and do another round of these, but I think probably I'm going to go with what I learned the most from first. I probably learned the most and took the most notes from Vicky Zilverberg when she did her vintage, because I've known a little bit about vintage, but nothing like what she put out there. And I became fascinated the way she broke it down in the decades and the little things to look for. And I took a bunch of notes through that, and I found that to be very educational, and she did it in a fun way and had samples. And I thought, wow, she brought all those samples with her. Like, that's a lot to carry through, because they weren't little light pieces. They were heavy vintage dresses and sweaters and coats. But it was neat to see that and I'm a very visual person. So the fact that she visually brought items to look at and compare the decades and the make, it was just a very well done presentation that I walked out of there with a lot to soak up. And so
I was really excited about that one, because I may have about 13 giant bags filled with 1980s and 1990s clothing that I'd started before Camp Listing Party, and I was less than enthused about doing them. But now, after watching Vicky, I'm like, I can do this. This is cool. These are cool. They're not ugly. They're cool. So
yeah.
And understanding the fashion trends a little bit more too. I feel a little more confident going in.
Right. Well, I'll be sourcing more vintage now that I feel
wait. You'll be sourcing more?
Well, not tomorrow, but I mean, when I go sourcing, I will be looking more at vintage than I did in the past. I kind of walked away from it in the past because it just overwhelmed me. But now I feel like with the knowledge I've gained and the website she shared, I got this. I'm not going to walk away from those vintage pieces.
I could bring you a couple of bags down.
No, those are yours. I don't want to take that experience away.
Well, I don't mind. I swear, I don't mind at all.
Educate yourself to the utmost that you can with those.
Actually, I can ship them today. What am I saying? Wait until August. Yeah, I could.
She could take a trip to you and source through those bags and feel like she's really thrifting it originally.
Samantha.
She's not into it. She's totally not into it, Samantha.
So I went to sneak into Vicky's, but it was packed, standing room only. Oh my gosh. So I snuck back over to the one about grading cards and comics, which I do not sell cards or comics. I sell some video games, but nothing that needs to be graded.
Was that Rod?
That was Rod from Pickin' and Punchin'. And
who I found out is from the Lehigh Valley, where I live right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah,
super nice guy.
Yeah, really nice.
Super nice. Yeah, loved chit-chatting with him, and like Carrie American Arbitrage and Kevin the Commonwealth Picker and several. I think Harry Tornado was in there, and several other people were in there listening and got to engage in the conversation. And he also brought like the games and the stuff in those bricks or whatever they call those clear plastic, and talked about all the different companies and all the different ways of things to be graded. apparently there's a big difference between something that's like a 9.8 and a 9.6. Like ridiculous. I was like, that's a 9. Like, that's fantastic. And he's like,
I
this isn't
learned
worth
that
anything.
on the new show I was watching,
There
the
you
gold, what is it? The one I told y'all about that's out now
The
on
golden touch.
Yeah, the Golden Touch. I learned about that.
It's
Yeah.
nuts. Like they don't even need like 1 through 8 because those
Yeah.
basically mean nothing. Nobody
Right.
cares.
It's the points between the 9 and the 10 that matter.
Yeah. But he talked about how if you want to send it in and you can tell them that if they can do like a pre-grade, and if it's not a minimum grade, then they'll send it back and you don't have to waste your money. It's only like $5 instead of spending $40 to actually get it graded. And so there was, if I ever need to get to that point, there was some really good tips in that one. I really liked it.
Well, you'll have to share with me at some point because my husband has probably 100 boxes filled with sports cards from his childhood.
No.
I want them out. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
We should
learn a new niche.
I did
I like
talk
it.
to Rod a little bit about it outside of his presentation beforehand and put a question in the app for him. And y'all, if you were not there next year, when you go, make sure you get into that app, because although there are some shenanigans that go on, there's a lot of good places where you can put questions in for the sessions and, learn some things even beforehand, which was nice. So, yeah.
And now we have access to these sessions for the next year. Anybody that went in person or virtually, we can go back, and it was all recorded and videoed in the whole 9 yards. So,
which is good because I want to watch them all over again and see the ones I missed.
I know.
Be everywhere, right?
That's the only thing is you can't do it all.
Yeah.
All right. So, which was interesting, and I'm just going to bring this up as a point. So at this one, they had breakout sessions. When we went to Boss, we were able to see every single thing because it was all done on the main stage.
Mhm.
Both awesome.
Right.
I can't even say like what I liked better. They definitely both had their benefits.
Yeah.
For having breakouts or being able to see everything and participate with everyone. So,
I mean, I think obviously as with everything, there's pros and cons of both. And I don't think any one is better than the other. There's just pros and cons of both.
Well, and even with 3 of us there, we were looking at breakout sessions. We were like, well, I want to go to this. No, I wanted to go to that. No, I want to. And it was nice to be able to say, okay, let's go to whatever. Normally we divide and conquer.
Right.
Even in like eBay open online and stuff, we divide and conquer and try to give each other tidbits from it. But with this, we were able to go, even if 2 of you went to Vicky's, we were able to go and we can look at the other ones later on. That's really nice.
Yeah, that was a nice thing about it, because some you just wanted to see in person. I do better when I'm hearing it in person than watching later down the road. So,
and sometimes we just needed a break and we needed to go sit in the lobby and put our feet up for a minute.
Yeah, right. Hey, let's stop for a second and talk about Kevin, Commonwealth Picker out of Virginia.
Okay.
He did the opening presentation. He was the first outside of List Perfectly to put himself up there and speak. And I think we've watched his videos. I've subscribed and I've watched his YouTubes, and I've always adored him. I think he's a good Southern guy, and I've always liked what he stood for. And I kind of felt like his, morals and values were on point with mine and that kind of thing. But to hear him publicly speak blew my mind. He was so dynamic up there on the mic.
Oh, he was great.
Great.
I
didn't know him at all before hearing him speak, and it was still as impactful for me as somebody not knowing him at all and listening to him speak as somebody that got the inside jokes and, understood those things. It was still just as impactful. Yeah. Very excellent.
I think it was a little humbling for him when he started asking questions of how many people in this room, everybody sit down if you don't know how many YouTube channels I have or what's my wife's name. And at the end, there was only like, I don't know, 6 or 7 of us standing. And he was like, oh,
I thought it was funny.
You can all come and get a gift then.
Brian Burt didn't even know who I was, he said.
Yeah.
Nobody at his table, he said, or something, knew who he was. And he's got like what, 90 something thousand followers, subscribers or something. I don't know. It's crazy. But I just felt like he was somebody who you could connect with because he wasn't reading off notes. It was just all him from his life experiences as a teacher, which I connect with, moving into the reselling world, and listening to his story is very similar to all of our stories, only we may have come from a different line of work to get into this, but it was all very similar. And he did it with humor. He did it with emotion. He went across the gamut with the, you leave going, I laughed, I cried, it was a great way to start off. And that was a very inspirational, and I don't want to say surprising, but maybe there's another word for it. Just was like, wow, that was really good. Maybe unexpected that it was going to be that good.
Yeah.
And heartwarming because you especially being the very first one and you go into this thinking, oh, these people do this and they do that and they, oh my gosh. And then just to have them feel all the same emotions that we're feeling and have the same goals that we have, and just they want their business to succeed and they want to have a community that understands that. And it just hit right here every time. It was like, yes, me too.
Yeah, so the title of his was The Way You Resell is Perfect for You. And I think that was an awesome kickoff because we all do things very differently, but there's a place at the table for everybody.
Yep. And I think we drill that home in so many of our episodes that is 100% how we believe. Our way is not the right way because guess what? Neither one of us on the screen right now do things the same. So it's just not. You do what's best for your situation and for you. And there are so many successful people out there in this business that do things completely different.
And there are people that are pivoting as we speak, right? They've been using one business model and they've been doing it for years and years and they're pivoting. So it's like starting from scratch. There are people that are literally listing their first item. And that's great to see, like all of the lifting up and the supporting and that's great. Not like dismissive.
Right.
I guess.
Right.
It's sometimes like when you're starting out, sometimes you feel dismissed and that's not the vibe at all. Like people are so excited to help you succeed. And that was apparent through everything. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think that there's, you saw some fangirling going on, but I really don't believe that those up there feel that way. Samantha, we all put our pants on one leg at a time. There's no need to fangirl. We're all normal people. And you got that vibe, like to sit down and talk to Kevin for probably 45 minutes to an hour, just shooting the breeze. There was nothing, I'm better than you, nothing. I mean, he was asking questions, very curious about what we do, how we do it. It just, we're all just people in it to win it. And we can all win it helping each other. So that was definitely, yeah.
And he actually came up to me 2 other times. So he must have had the same flight schedule as me because he was in the lobby all day Friday.
I think his flight got canceled and rescheduled.
Oh, yeah. So he was able to collaborate with some other people. They were doing videos, they were editing things. He was quite productive while he was there. And then as those people left and went on their flights, he was coming up and asking, like, he's like, okay, I just want to know people that only resell or people, and he was just kind of polling people in the lobby. And I cannot say what project he is working on at the moment because only a few people and a couple people in the lobby know about it, but it is awesome. He is doing some major things for the community, or hopefully does them. He's still in the planning stages of if he really wants to do them or not, but it's going to be great. Like he truly wants the whole community to succeed. And yeah, he just kept coming up and he's like, I want your view on this and I want your take on this. And yeah, it was awesome.
And he really wants it. I mean, that's yeah. I don't think he feels like he puts his pants on any different than we do.
No, not at all.
At a time,
but I still had my moment. Okay. It was really exciting.
All right. We'll give you your moment, darling.
All right, we'll allow it. There's only one person I'd fangirl. I just wouldn't be able to help myself. So,
oh Lord, who did you fangirl?
I didn't fangirl anyone.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah,
think.
no, I'm not really a fangirling type. But there is
However,
one person I really admire
I
that I
now
might be guilty of doing it if I ever met them.
I now have a couple of people that I adore that I didn't fangirl, but now after the fact, I adore them. They're in my adoration list.
Yeah.
And that would be Tiffy Pie, like you were talking about earlier, Sarah, her posh buddy, her twin posh twinner.
It's Boink.
Boink. And oh my gosh, Brittany.
I didn't get to meet her.
What's her last name?
What, Hatcher?
Hatcher.
All right, so that was my second thing that I just have to mention, because I heard her on the Seller Community podcast. Brittany Hatcher, Cute Case Resale. She was phenomenal on the podcast. I couldn't wait to meet her in person.
So cute.
And I went to her presentation and she did not disappoint.
Mm-mm.
She was all about motivation and accountability and just so real, but the tips she gave were incredible, were incredibly insightful, so well thought out. If you guys have a virtual ticket and you're able to watch her presentation, please do.
I have to interrupt though. I don't know if you've tried to watch it. I fear it's not all on there because I noticed during the presentation, they were running back and forth, having problems hitting record. So I fear that a lot of people are going to miss the first half, which was so good. And when I noticed that, I was like, oh my gosh, none of us are going to get to relive the first half of this. I hope I'm wrong, but from what I witnessed, I don't know it's all going to be there.
From what I heard, there were issues streaming to the app, but they were all fully recorded.
Okay, well, I watched him hit record halfway through, so that's what worries me. Is I actually watched him hit record on the thing. I was like, oh no! I hope.
Don't worry, you go still get something out of it, even if it's only the second half, because she totally did a recap. So
yeah, she was really, really good. Listen,
be happy.
She started the whole thing by asking you to write three places that you. What's the word? Not exceed, 3 places that you're really good at, 3 things that you struggle with. I forget the terms. Anyway, it was really nice to have somebody ask me that outside of my normal life, because my normal life people, I'm like, man, whatever, because I'm tired of hearing y'all preach to me and tell me I'm this, that, or the other. I get it. But to have her do it.
Wow, Samantha, we just got smacked down, I think.
Sick of hearing us.
I was like, whoa, and you're in a classroom setting, you're like at your desk, you're surrounded by people, and you like really had to think about it. And I was like, ooh, this is serious. But it was such a good way to start it off. It really put my head in the game right off the bat.
Awesome. Nice.
So yeah. Who else, y'all? Gotcha. I mean, there's so many. The
whole thing was great. I liked so they had a spot for a networking. There was like 3 hours of networking sessions, and we had assigned seats this whole time. So every meal and every time we were in the ballroom, we had assigned seats, and we would switch seats.
As speakers, we had assigned
as speakers.
Seats. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then, so speakers had assigned seats, and then we would get a List Perfectly person at the table with us. So if anybody had any questions, they had a help desk. That was awesome. You go and work one-on-one with somebody. Mm-hmm. And then they did that networking session where they had different tables set up with like the Kitizen and one about shipping and one just different people at different ones. And we got to bounce around for those. We weren't assigned to any table or anything. At first, like you said, classroom session and stuff, I'm the opposite. When it comes to like classroom style stuff, I'm like, nope, I was the class clown. I don't want anybody to tell me what I need to do.
I can see that.
It was awesome. The assigned seats were great. We got different people each time, and there wasn't people being all cliquey or anything because everybody was divided up in lots of different areas and being able to mingle. And then the networking session, so I sat and had a 10-minute conversation because I sat down a little earlier than when we started. I had a 10-minute conversation with the lady at the Kitizen table, and I did not realize until about 4 hours later that she was the CEO of Kitizen. And I'm like, wow, she really knows her stuff. And everybody's like, well, I certainly hope she does.
Yeah, she is amazing. Dory, yeah.
She was great. I probably going to add kids into my list of things because it's more than just kids clothes, which I don't sell kids clothes, but we went over a whole list of other things that can go on there. And they even give out like trending styles and trending brands and things like that. So they do a really good job to make sure that people can succeed on there, even though it's such a small niche.
So what's funny is Dan and I walked out of there, Dana Crawford and I walked out of there with the same thing. We both like took pictures of the trending brands and both were like, oh, I'm going to source this. I'm going to source this. Because I do some children, and that's why I was like, okay, I'm going to start selling on Kittison. I have a whole large duffel bag filled with new with tags baby clothes that I need to list. So what a great place to list it. Even though, as Dana said, well, that wasn't one of the brands on the list. I'm like, no, it wasn't, but it's Carter's and it's new with tags. So I'm going to, it doesn't mean you can't sell other things on their site. It just means these are their best selling brands and things to help you be most successful. But I thought it was funny. She and I both came out of that. And so when we were thrifting, which we're going to talk to y'all about later in a little bit. So hold on, because that was fun. When we were thrifting, I was like, oh, these look like they could be one of those brands. And she's like, let me look at the list. So now I don't know, she might start just buying her grandkids only those brands so that when they're done, she can put them on Kittison.
Smart, very smart.
Yeah, at first, with the whole moving the round tables and spending that time with different people, I'm like, I typically don't like that kind of thing. And at first I was like, do I stay or do I go out in the lobby during this time? Because it's typically not my jam. And I thought, well, let me just go sit at one. And I ended up going the whole way through to all the different tables each time the switch happened. And I loved every minute of it. I thought it was wonderful. Even though it's a subject you already know inside and out, again, it's just hearing from different people, even if they weren't sharing knowledge for you to take, just hearing their struggles and even just being able to be there and shake your head to them, nod your head to them and give them the support of, I get you, I get you. But it ended up being fun. And my only complaint about having to sit at the same table was pre-complaining that I didn't want to have to sit at a table because I wanted to sit with you girls because we needed to bond, yet Trish did great and put us three together at every table. So my one concern got poof right off the bat because we sat together. I didn't want to miss our bonding time because
my only complaint was, why did I have to sit with you guys the whole time? I don't know.
Right? I know. You wanted to be with your other people. I know.
It was pretty fantastic. I like that.
All right.
The only hard part with some of those networking tables was there were some misinformations given, or however you should say that. Bad with English today. But there were things that were being shared that they weren't the best tips, but they weren't from anybody that like worked for a specific company. They were just, if we all sat at a table for shipping, it wasn't necessarily that anybody was manning that table. It was just that table was about shipping. So when you sit there, it guided that conversation. And some of the information that people were giving to each other was not best practices. There were some, you can use priority boxes if you just black out some of the barcodes, and it's no, like people were shipping them with like UPS, and I'm like, no, or shipping them as first class, or so you still have to take everything with a grain of salt, and
that's a really good point.
Try to make sure that some of those new people, because there were a lot of people there that were very new to reselling, or that were trying it out in their retirement age, like people that were there from Phoenix that they'd retired and somehow came across this and thought it was a cool thing to do on the side. So just try to make sure that they understood what best practices were.
Know who you're listening to. Who you're listening to. That's why we put our store information at the bottom in all our show notes on podcast and YouTube, so you can check out what we do. We're walking the walk. I do that if I'm taking anyone's advice. Sorry, I'm going to look at your store and I want to know what you do before I listen to you.
How successful are you? Well, there's some advice for Trish. Trish, if you're watching for the next time, is maybe make sure each of those tables does have somebody who's an expert in that field, just to make sure that kind of misinformation isn't provided to a newbie who then goes home and gets themselves in trouble.
Yeah.
We don't want that to happen.
You don't.
No. That was awesome. I mean, everything was awesome. All right, hold on. I'm trying to think of another really good. The panels were all good. I love a panel. I loved the panel that had Callie, and I think it was Callie. It was Callie, Kevin, and no, it was Kat, the nurse flipper, maybe Kevin and Mikey Bags of Money. Was that the one I'm thinking of?
Oh, the YouTube panel. Yeah, the panel on YouTube. Yeah, that was good.
Kevin rocked it out. And all I kept thinking the whole time, if you look, when Mikey's face was like, well, I guess I don't need to answer that, because Kevin had such good answers and long answers. It was just funny to watch. I love the banter between them. You know, the banter that goes on, especially between the group of bros that are all YouTubers. Their banter between each other is really, it's fun.
So I need to just say this. I mean, I guess I knew this, but until it was in front of me, I guess I didn't really know it, right? YouTube, if you are going to be a YouTuber, it is an insane investment of time, right? So a lot of these people are not reselling full-time. They're full-time YouTubers, and a lot of them talked a little bit about that. But the thing that really hit me in the face when I was there was, these people are always producing content, right? Like, we couldn't walk down the hallway without seeing them producing content or recording something or getting ready for, like, they are always on, always working. And I don't think I knew how hard they worked, because there is no way I could be like, I could multitask and be in the moment and creating content. And they are superstars, and it is really hard work.
Yeah, and they're really good at it, because I mean, we tried to get a couple, we wanted a montage of people talking about their experiences and what they were doing, and I don't think we got very many, because every time
All right, hi guys. Do you want to interview them?
Yeah, you're gonna give us some cues.
Okay, so first of all, what are your names?
Sunny Las Vegas. Hey, and I'm Stuart from Franklin Hill Ventures.
And what was your favorite part of this convention? Sunny?
It wasn't, I love the talks, especially yours, but I like that I just felt welcome and at ease. Like, it's like I've done this before with you all and everybody else here. Like, I didn't feel uncomfortable any time. It felt really good. I like that feeling. And I think a lot of people felt that way. Almost everybody.
Yes. Family. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's always, I mean, just as Sunny said, I mean, I learned a lot, especially some things that aren't like in my normal, like things I sell. I really like Vicky and Katie's session about the vintage clothing. Amy over here, who you can't see, she's off camera, but
Now she's on camera.
she's going to be the
Now she's off camera.
She's going to be the new clothing buyer for Franklin Hill Ventures.
No more $18 t-shirts at the outlet mall. I mean, at the booth.
I thought the Consignment Chat ladies did incredible today.
Oh, I love these suck-ups. They're so great.
I mean,
Shout out to them. They're amazing.
Yeah, they are.
They only they were here to show you.
I mean, we're waiting for the ladies of Consignment Chat calendar to come out.
Yeah.
All right.
But no, really, in all seriousness, just the community of the people here. I mean, a lot of people that I've met before at Boss Reseller Remix, and then made a lot of new friends. And I mean, the whole reseller community is just incredible.
It is.
It's wonderful.
All right, I have one last question to end this out. Will you be at the Boss Reseller Remix?
Absolutely.
I may be speaking at the Boss Reseller
You're
Remix.
gonna say you live in Vegas. Come on, yes.
We're going to be speaking too.
Speakers.
Damn, I need to come
I'll
prepared.
be
then.
speaking.
He spoke last year. You'll be
I'll
there
just be in the audience this year.
cheering us on.
I will.
He needs a Consignment Chats groupies.
I am the Consignment Chat ladies'
You're
biggest
groupie.
fan.
You need a groupie hat. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. We love you both.
and they were great. The ones that did it were fantastic. But every time we'd be talking to somebody, we were just talking because we were there hanging out. And then 20 minutes later, we'd be like, oh, man, that would have made a good video. And these guys are on top of it. They're just constantly videoing. So who knows where our faces will be.
I had a brilliant video, y'all, of Samantha and Allie Roots. Brilliant video. It was so good.
What do you mean was?
That I forgot to hit record.
I wasn't recording.
No, you weren't.
Molly, no, you weren't.
What? That was our best material. I don't even know how we did.
All right, y'all.
Oh my god.
Oh, shush.
I had not talked to Allie or Ryan, like, other than like a hello or a excuse me or an sorry here and there.
Right.
And we were hanging out in the lobby that night, and I just had to go up and say hi to Allie. And Molly goes, well, I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go say hi to her. And Molly goes, well, bring her over here. We need to chat with her. So I go say hello. I bring her over, arms around each other the whole time. I'm having a total moment. She is so freaking cool. She's so down to earth. She just wants to talk about life and she's so supportive. She's so great. And we had a fantastic little interview.
It was an incredible interview, and it was fun because in the back, who popped up first? Was it
Stuart, our #1 fan?
No, first somebody was in there, and then the whole time Stuart was in the background with his little head popping up like this. And it was going on. It was hilarious. It was such a good not video.
And then, and then what happened, Molly, when we were done and there were tears in our eyes, and it was just such a moment.
And I went, I didn't record. And then I hit record, and all you hear is the actual recording is, no, Molly.
I had no idea that even happened. That's
so
hilarious.
I made them redo it, although it's not quite as good.
It was terrible afterwards because
didn't-
it wasn't in the moment.
Well, we didn't script it. We just recorded again and said, all right, let's chat again and get some information out here. So it's still good. It's going to make it. It'll be on the video. And yeah. I really flubbed that one up.
We have Allie Roots. She's a big deal. She's here. She was just talking about how fantastic I am.
Oh yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
10 out of 10
Right.
from me.
I thought that was me.
This is both of you.
She doesn't even know my name. This is great. So, I'm Samantha, by the way. Nice to meet you.
Samantha. I was like, wait, I just met a Samantha. You're Samantha.
I'm Samantha.
I have not had anything to drink today. I've lost my voice. Apologies.
Okay, so what was your biggest takeaway from this reseller convention?
Reselling, unlike many other groups of people, they're wonderful, positive, supportive human beings. And that's incredible because in this day and age, it's very hard to find a community that is positive and supportive and non-toxic. And this community is probably one of my favorite communities I've ever been a part of.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
A little bit.
And we thought we were going to be able to do mini episodes with Franklin Hill Ventures, Stuart and Amy. I also had slated Julie and Mike of One Way Vintage. We really wanted to get them. So we're going to record episodes with them separately because we just couldn't maneuver it. We couldn't maneuver it, folks.
I got to be honest with you, getting to the potty was hard to maneuver. You just didn't have time.
Yeah, I wanted to sit and like go through our shared email together, and like I wanted to see how Libby lists something and how Molly lists something, and we could, because like you said earlier, we all do our businesses so differently. It would have been nice to see it in person, and we didn't get any of that together.
No time at all. No time at all. You just can't breathe. I did get time to go to the pool a couple of times for a little bit, and that was nice. That was worth every moment. But yeah, it was hard. Yeah. But a good kind of hard. I mean,
I was just gonna say it was awesome because it was a vacation. It was relaxing, and we still spent tons of time together. So
yeah. I mean, it wasn't hard in a negative way. It was hard in a good way. We were just so busy that all those things you think you're going to get done just don't get done.
hence why I slept for 18 hours straight when I got home.
Yeah. I took a huge nap Friday, then slept from like 10 o'clock until 9 o'clock the next morning, and then took another nap on Saturday. I kept taking these big naps in the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
guess
I'm
that's why
starting to
I'm
feel
so
back to
darn
my norm.
tired.
Sleep more.
Getting back to the norm, and I just keep thinking, how does Trish and the other
Ah.
LP people feel? Because I can't imagine how much harder that was on them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. What?
Fearless. We
Oh.
cannot wrap this up without talking about Diane Lassonde and Fearless and her daughter Jennifer, who is
I
their-
loved meeting her daughter
She's
too.
a rock star. She's a
They're
rock
so
star.
amazing. I got to go out with dinner with them again on Friday and spend some extra time with them, and oh my gosh, just
Right?
love them so much.
amazing,
pretty incredible.
amazing people.
And I can't wait to see, speaking of Kevin, the Commonwealth Picker, I can definitely see where there's going to be some collaborating going on with them. He is huge into charities and causes, and he was in tears at the end of that presentation. So yeah.
It had to be. It was beautiful.
And we raised, there was another couple $1,000s raised just while we were there. So seeing the community come together for that, and oh, so good. So good.
So good. Yeah. So if you guys haven't checked out Fearless Living Funds, it is Diane Lassonde supports the Blind Center of Nevada and some of the, well, it's going to be a lot of the extras they do there with their housing and helping support that. But you can check out, we did a pretty good interview with her on the Country Consignment YouTube channel. I'll link that up, all about what she does. And we got Ryan from the Blind Center of Nevada on there too. And we will be bringing you live video from the Blind Center when we're out there for the Boss Reseller Remix.
Yes.
Yes, but
Yes.
it is
Yeah.
absolutely a beautiful, amazing place to, spend your donation monies or to raise money or, just to learn about and pass it on. It's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the big things I love about Boss Reseller Remix is that that's where it's held and that's what it supports. And the fact that Diane has now taken it to another level of connection and meaning just makes it that much more special. So. Good stuff.
So good. I just love her so much.
I know that was one of the things I was going to say when we were going around, but we kind of left that go around thing and just babbling, which is what we do. But that was probably one of the most special parts of it for me was getting a lot more one-on-one with Diane and being able to be in the pool with her and sit with her and talk to her and have all those moments where we could just sit and talk or swim and talk or whatever. Because we knew each other, we loved each other, but it was nice to have a lot of that time. That
Priceless.
was very special.
Yeah.
All right. So what else do we have? Anything else we want to touch on before we move on? Because I've got something to talk about upcoming, a couple of things. Is there anything else that you really feel like you must get out of your mouth, aside from the fact that it was overall an amazing success by Trish and the LP gang, the List Perfectly gang? Anything else that just hits you that, like, if I don't talk about this one thing,
I mean, there was so much. Just go, check it out. Make sure you watch all the sessions with your virtual ticket. And there's a lot there's a lot that went on that we didn't touch on. So it's out there.
And
I can't touch on it all. I mean, we could, but
I'm sure you're gonna I'm sure you're going to touch on the fact that Boss tickets went on sale and that we have a code for that.
That was exactly what I was getting ready to say.
Well, I'm stealing your thunder, because if you can't make it to Vegas, don't make excuses. There's a virtual aspect to that as well this year. So if you're getting some FOMO and mad that you missed out on all this awesomeness for this one, then make sure that you sign up at least virtually for the next one. And Molly, you can give them more information.
And when you sign up virtually, if you use the code CCHATS, it's right here, HATS, you will get $10 off. So that will take that $75 price down to $65. You're welcome. Anything for you. We're happy to do it. So you don't want to miss it. And like Samantha's saying, if you can't, the best case scenario is that you're there physically. We want you there. We want to be in the space with you. But if you cannot be there personally, we understand, get there virtually. So, the other upcoming thing, I know we lost Samantha. She's from her dad's house. So I think she's maybe had a connectivity issue. But one more thing before we say goodbye and cheers is I want you all to be looking forward to a little collaboration sourcing video that'll be coming out, that I am going on a sourcing weekend with Stuart and Amy from Franklin Hills. And I'm excited, and I'm going to take a lot of video, and I can't wait to share that.
Ooh, fun. Wait, are we getting a thrifting video from Phoenix too?
Of course.
Wow. Both?
Of course.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun.
I got to do that. I got a couple of videos I got to make. I've been spending a lot of time on one particular surprise video that I'm really struggling with. I'm about to just put that whole thing on the kibosh and move forward with the others, because the others I can get done quicker. So
finish it.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be perfect.
Oh no, the only way this one will work is if it works the way we wanted it to work. Otherwise,
well, I don't know, you guys didn't let me in on what it is.
Tell you, no, but you're going to find out eventually, because I don't think it's going to work. So anyway,
all that build up, and there might be nothing.
We'll see. But I hope you all enjoyed us breaking down the amazing camp listing party. Keep that in your plans, perhaps for next year, whether it's virtual or in person, and be ready for the upcoming Boss Reseller Remix.
Yes, and we're going to be chatting a lot about that and giving you all sorts of information. So if you don't know what it is, we're going to tell you. And I'm also going to link up in the show notes our recap of last year's Boss Reseller Remix after we recovered from it. We'll just say that.
There's always a recovery, just so you know. If you're going to the first one for the first time, there's always a recovery. And if you're going to be at FlipCon in Charlotte, North Carolina in August, we will see you there. Libby and I will be there. Still hoping we can figure out Samantha, but I'm not sure she'll be able to make it, but we will definitely be there. So if you're there, find us and say hi. We'd love nothing more than to talk to you. If we've never met you, we'd love to meet our people, our sea chatters. So definitely come up and say hi.
And if you're not going to be at anything, the least you can do is hit like and subscribe for our channel.
Hit like, subscribe, join us.
If you're feeling really guilty, go over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review.
If you're feeling really guilty, they're like, nah, no. All right. Until next time, my friend.
Cheers. Thanks for joining Libby, Molly, and Samantha, the ladies of Consignment Chats, as we build a resourceful community of collaborative resellers. Find all the ways to connect with us on consignmentchats.com. Episodes are available on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts. In addition, join our free private Facebook community.